What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Lance Storm, and today on WN420 Horsepower TV, we're going to be doing something special. I'm going to be carrying on the interviews with Missourians about the current state of medical cannabis within Missouri. They have a couple different initiatives, a couple different proposals for medical cannabis, and it could be a good thing, but it could be a bad thing. And I figured it was best to get out and talk with the public, people who matter, the people who matter, which is the John Q. public of Missouri. And today we're going to sit down and talk with Jeff Mizanskey, and I'm hoping I'm not murdering his last name. Every time I say your last name, Jeff, I feel like I murder it. So, but that's not the point of the video today. It's about cannabis and the state of urgency that Missouri needs it. And let's just get down to it. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Lance Storm, and this is WN420 Horsepower TV. And today we're going to be talking about the WN420 side of things. As I said earlier, we have Jeff Mizanskey. Mizanskey. Man, I kill your name every time, every time. And his son Chris. These are two really stand-up guys who are standing up to help fight for the end of prohibition of cannabis within the state of Missouri, as well as the rest of the nation, one step at a time. And Jeff has actually spent 23 years behind bars because of cannabis, a failed war on drugs. And we're not exactly going to talk about that all the way. We're more here to talk about the amendments and proposals that we have for Missouri's medical marijuana. And Jeff?
How you doing? 23 years is a little long. It was 3 months short of 22 years. And then I walked down 3 years of parole. So I just got off of parole a while back and registered to vote, like I hope most of you do, register to vote, because we do need your signatures, or not your signatures, but your votes. We got your signatures. And it was fantastic. We had an awful lot of people come out and sign. And what a lot of people don't realize is on new approach here, it's mostly grassroots. It's the people doing it. It's people that put it together, and it's something for the people. So
that's really
compassionate care.
Yeah. Cannabis is something that we need in our state for more than just a medical reason. I am constantly encouraging people to look at the industrial value.
There's a lot of things that can be made from cannabis, in one way or the other, whether you're using hemp or regular cannabis. Medical side, I think all the jobs are going to come through Missouri here that we didn't have.
Oh, definitely.
And then we're also looking at how about our patients? They're going to get some care that they really need. And
another option to chemo.
Right.
Yeah.
Or at least something to go with chemo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not.
Right.
I don't know all the ins and outs, but we do have a lot of doctors that do back new approach.
Right.
Amendment 2. Nurses and doctors enjoy it. We have a lot of law enforcement that is behind it. A lot of our people all across. This is not Democrat, it's not Republican or Independent. It's us, the people. And that's how this was wrote up. And that's what that petition is for, or should I say now the bill.
Right.
It's for the people. It's something that everybody has an opportunity to get in there and try, if they would like. And let's face it, cannabis is not for everybody.
That is true.
There's so many that truly need it. How about our children with epilepsy? Some of them have 60, 70 episodes a day.
Right.
Are able to use some of the oils and stuff that they're getting from cannabis.
What is it, the DeVray syndrome?
I believe so. And it's stopping a lot of it dead in its tracks, you know. We were out collecting signatures and had one guy come up, and he was on the phone the whole time he was in line, constantly on there. And he finally got up to us and he said he was asked how long we were going to be there because he had a bunch more people coming down. And you know, we got to talk a little bit, finding out his interest, and it turned out that he was sent home about a year and a half before that from the hospital with just a couple of weeks to live.
Really?
He did chemo. He'd done everything to fight cancer, and they said, go get everything in order. You're going to pass. Well, his family members decided that wasn't good enough, and they had to break the law. They went across state lines to go get their father medicine, which was oil. They brought it back. Well, a year and a half, 2 years later, he was there to sign a petition. He was right here to sign a petition. Man. Why? Because he believes in it. So it's something that our state needs. And another thing a lot of people don't think about is how many refugees that we have that are living right here in Missouri that actually now have to live in another state. One of the parents may live here with part of the family, and the other part of the family living in a legal state.
Right.
So we have,
medical refugees.
Right, unnecessary hardships on them, and it's not bad. It's not bad enough that they're sick, and they need help. They found something that helps them, and they can't get it.
Right.
They have to leave their state and their families and their everything to get it. It's sad.
And that's where a new approach comes in: compassionate care. Get these people home. Get them with their family.
Right.
And get us, the people, involved. Myself, I've got. I can do me a bit of good. I can't have a dispensary or anything. I'm just off of parole. But there's a lot of you out there that can have them. And with Vote Yes on 2, you have the opportunity to do that. You'll be able to get a license. You'll be able to grow your own. You'll be able to take care of family members if you so desire. I think that's what we all want. I think the whole state of Missouri needs it and deserves it.
I think it's far past time.
And it's definitely an alternative medicine. It's not like that's not been shown over and over and over. That it does help people. I mean, they can say it till they're blue in the face, but there's too much information and data out there to say that it doesn't help.
Even for mainstream media, it's got to be hard for them to try and put a spin on it in a negative fashion, because for the last 2 years, almost every Friday, there's a video. There's a video, a lot like this, that comes up on CNN or Fox News that talks about another cannabis patient finding the health that they once had through using cannabis. It is an amazing thing. We have 3 proposals, 2 of which are amendments and 1 is a statute, and each one of them has pros and cons to it. Let's talk about Prop C for a second. I have a little bit of literature on Prop C right here, and honestly, there's a lot that's concerning with Prop C, but for me, the biggest concern is this one right here. Whenever they say the estimated revenue and estimated cost of the proposal is $10 million straight across, straight up and down. So it's $10 million for them to run it, and it's $10 million that they expect to make off of it. What are they looking to sell? That's my question.
I'm not very familiar with Prop C. I haven't looked into it very deeply, but
the other problems with Prop C are they kind of come in with the fact that there's not a grow-at-home option. I know a lot of people do want to be able to grow at home because, honestly, not everybody has the money to be able to go to the dispensary all the time, or considering the fact that with this particular one, there's not going to be that many dispensaries. So, yeah, why not have a grow-at-home option with that?
Right. In my opinion, I would like to know. I would like to have the option to know what I'm growing in. I know I don't have no pesticides on my plants. I don't necessarily need somebody else to be doing it. If I can do it myself, I would do that.
Exactly.
I mean, it makes sense for real.
Out of the 3 options, the only one that gives a grow-at-home option is the Compassionate Care Amendment 2. What are some of your favorites, Chris?
I like the fact that you can grow your own. I actually like the fact that they have a set timing so that we don't get caught up in like other states that have passed and they're still waiting for stuff to get done.
Like the 210 days to have things
set
up?
I like the fact that they have to get the stuff in order in a timely manner and they can't go over it. I also like the fact that the dispensaries are so many per district, at least so many per district, and
I think it's 24
if we need more, then we can get more, but at least we're going to have that much
minimum.
help in each district. We don't have to drive 700 miles across the whole state to the corner of Missouri to get our product, and that's a plus for me too as well. There's so many others, I mean, to touch base on with it, but if you can get it, if you got to drive 30 minutes to another city to get it, that's not very bad. And for those that can't, I mean, there's that grow option, and I don't see it being as big a problem to have it when you have a certain amount in area for area, as opposed to, well, I have to drive all the way over here to so-and-so's this county or that to get it, or to go talk to this person. I like the fact that a doctor can recommend you, and you can get
you don't got to go through a friend of a friend of a friend.
Right, a patient's license. I mean, there's so much to touch base on. It takes hands out of illegal cartels. I mean, it helps out all the way around.
Well, I like the fact that, the testing, you're going to know what's coming in the products that you're getting, and you're going to have more options than having to go through the black market. Black market's not always the best way or what you need or should do. In fact, technically, you shouldn't be going through the black market because it's illegal and it's bad. Don't break the law, but
the number one reason
change the law
is the number one reason to pass and get something in Missouri is so other people don't get set in a situation like my dad did and spend 22 years in jail away from his family, his home, his grandkids, his everything to do with his life. As long as you're complying and you're doing what you should be doing, and you have a card and you're supposed to do this and that and the other, you're legit and legal. I mean, I don't want to see anybody else go through anything that I did or my dad did. I was out here and I was free, and it tore me up for 22 years.
Right.
I can only imagine what it did for him. You know what I mean? That's a big chunk of someone's life.
That's 20. I can't put into words how it makes me feel whenever I hear that somebody spent that amount of time, and there's other people who have spent that and more throughout history.
Well, that was 1/3 of my dad's life.
If you think about it,
spend with us or with his grandkids.
I'm actually one of the lucky ones because I'm out here.
Yeah.
And we've got so many brothers and sisters that are still locked up over marijuana. Some of them doing life without, not just in the states, it's federally. There's nobody else in the state of Missouri doing life without the marijuana.
He was the only one.
He was the only one.
I was the only one. And
I was going to ask you
that law has been changed since then.
Yeah.
Dan Beats and a group of other lawyers got together and helped change that law.
That's amazing.
Right before I got out. But
that's amazing, and that's really good that
I can make circles.
we don't have to worry about that being a thing in Missouri's future again. And
that's true.
I'm sorry that you had to. I'm sorry that you were the one who had to fight that fight, but man, thank you.
You're welcome.
You changed. You changed an aspect of Missouri. Well, Dan Viets and the governor and yourself, you guys, and many other people, I'm sure.
The sad reality is, though, is that no other person can get life without parole, but you're not taking away the 15-year sentences, the 12-year sentences, the 10-year sentences.
30-year sentences.
30-year sentences. You're not.
Didn't Cosby just get 3 to 10 years for something that's way worse than smoking a plant?
Oh, way worse.
Yeah, I just hate to tell you how many rapists come in and out of prison almost like they have the keys. I mean, it just, one guy was in on a charge when I was first there and got out, got back in a new charge, got out and back in a new charge. I don't know what's going on with him now, but that's crazy.
Does this, the Compassionate Care Act does that help
cannabis
prisoners in any way? Does it help veterans? Who does it help?
Well, it definitely helps the veterans. You get a 4% tax that's going to the veterans here in Missouri.
All right.
And it's stated right down there. It's imposed a 4% tax on a retail sale of marijuana.
Nice.
And that's one of the main reasons I really like this, because our veterans need a lot of help,
Right.
and this is the way for them to get some help. But then again, when I first got involved, that's what a lot of it was about. But after going around collecting signatures, hearing stories about the children
Right.
that are having trouble and being helped, unfortunately, illegally in Missouri, and the elderly that are being helped. And let's not forget about in other states that it's legal, at least medically, the opiate deaths have gone down between 25 and 35%.
Exactly. And
That helps our opiate crisis that we got going on right now. That was,
states that have had full legalization, where it's recreational, it's gone down more than just in the states where it's just medical.
I haven't seen that, but I have to check into that.
And another thing is the compassionate care. It's a self-funded deal. It's not like the state of Missouri is going to have to put out money, because in the end, they're going to make their money back out of licensing, sales, and everything else. It's a self. It's not like Missourians will be out any money.
Right.
The
It's
money is going to
self-funded.
be generated by itself. Right. So.
Well, when you're looking at a market like this, what is it? Well, on a national level, we're looking at a 35 to $45 trillion a year if we went nationally legal industry. That's huge. But on a state value, you're looking at about 35 billion dollars. Is that right?
I don't know about billion.
Or million. 35 to $55 million on a conservative prospect on revenue. They've got different marks on here, but that's just off of the medical use value of it. And if you look at things on the industrial value, that's whenever things start to skyrocket. You get a lot more use, a lot more value, and a lot more income for the state to do cool things like help out the school students and pave roads.
Yes, and not only is it helping out the state, but it's also going to open up jobs for all kinds of. You don't have to be working as a bud tender in a dispensary,
Right.
to get a job working if and when it passes.
Right.
There's going to be
You could be prior
Containers,
military.
distributors.
there's going to be all kinds
Security.
of jobs that open up. There's going to be security. There's going to be, there's going to be packaging stuff that's opened up,
Yep.
and there's going to be.
Well, there's going to be kitchens and
Exactly
test
right.
labs.
All test labs and all
of
the
this,
stuff that
yeah.
opens up. Yes.
so pretty much every walk of life that we already cater to, as far as employment value, we're going to add to that, and that's amazing. So
And those jobs pop up overnight. Basically,
Right.
there's
It didn't
jobs that
exist yesterday, and now
and do today. That's
yeah.
right.
But you know what's even more important than anything? Is it's going to help the people in Missouri.
Yes.
The ones that are sick, the ones that are only going to have to pay this 4% tax instead of a 15% tax that's on some other ones.
Well, let's
And-
talk about some of them other ones.
But why do we want to put a big tax on our most vulnerable or sick and our elderly?
We don't. We shouldn't. We should
In fact,
take extra care on them.
right. The only reason I went along with the tax on this with the 4% for the veterans is because it was for veterans. And what other group of people do we owe anything to?
There's two.
Besides the people in Missouri and our veterans that help us stay in this United States and live the way we live.
You bring up such a valid point. It makes me think of this thought. And it's just basically another way of wording what you just said. But the two people who've taken care of us our whole lives are our elders and our military. Why is it that more often than not that I see with the options and opportunities for legal cannabis in our state or medical cannabis in our state, that they do nothing to help out the senior citizens? They do nothing to help out the veterans. To me, that's a problem, because these are the people who've always looked out for us, and we should be able to have a way to look out for them in turn. So I like the fact that this does that. Now, the Amendment 3, it's can I see this?
Sure can.
This is a book. This is quite a few pages, and this is the one where I've heard this called the one-man legacy bill. So cancer and unknown diseases, to me, I feel like they're not going to be doing a whole lot of research on cannabis, or leastwise the type of research that we, as Missourians, should be doing. And with one person in control of the whole thought process and making the board and all that, I'm not sure that this is sound in the way to go. But that's not my decision to make. But I can tell you that voting yes on all of these is the last thing you ever want to do. You don't want to vote yes on all of them. You've got three options. Do your due diligence, research, figure out which one you feel is the best, and vote that one. It's okay to mark X, no, on all of them, but it's not okay to mark yes on all of them. Pick one. That's the best thing that you can do for this. Make sure you're a registered voter. I think you have to the 1st of October or the 5th of October to make sure that you have your registered voters.
I believe it's the 10th.
The 10th?
Yeah. October 10th.
October 10th, I think it is.
It's October 10th. But I think if you mail it in, you have to have it post-stamped before the 5th. So just do it before the 1st. Be a registered voter, and
you can do it online real easy.
Yeah.
Sign in. Is it Turbo Vote?
Turbo
Voter? Or Turbo, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
If you do that, you don't have to worry about a post stamp. Then that's
and you're
even
registered
better.
immediately.
You know what I'd really like is if people would take the time to get informed. Actually go to the New Approach line on our website, New Approach Missouri. You'll find copies of these petitions.
You can go on the Secretary of
Bills.
State and pull them all three up and read through them and make your
go
decision
Secretary of
right
State,
there. Yeah.
exactly.
Very good. Very
And
good.
take time to read it. If you do, you'll know which one's for the people, and you'll know which one maybe ain't for us as well.
I'll tell you some things I do know about Amendment 3. He's a self-funded. All of the money involved to get his signatures collected was from him. He doesn't have a grassroots, people-oriented like us from Missouri helping him. He did it all on his own dime and paid for every signature he had. He didn't have people from Missouri helping him. He didn't have people out volunteering to get signatures for him. He didn't have us as Missourians helping him out. He took his own route about it and did it himself and paid for every signature.
There's no doubt there's already $1 million invested into that initiative. As I've heard before, there's going to be more money thrown at that. So it's a very well-funded initiative, and you guys are going to hear a lot of negative things coming out about Prop C. You're going to hear a lot of negative things about number 2, and you're just going to hear so much from the well-funded group saying that they're the way to go, and it's my job to tell you. I'm not telling you what to vote for. I'm just encouraging that you guys educate yourselves and know what you want to vote for.
That's definitely the key.
The worst thing is misinformation.
And there will be a lot of lies told, unfortunately, and there'll be a lot of negative advertisement, which I don't believe in. Or I really be talking about some other things, but let's face it. In every bill or everything you vote on, there's always something in there you don't like, and you got to take the most positive away with what you read.
I just hate the fact that we have to mix weed and politics.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't have to be, but it is. This is the world we live in. So, you know, a while back we heard somebody running for office that was talking about change, and he talked about real change.
Right.
You know what? We can make real change.
Yes, sir.
And we can by voting. We have to get involved. We have to take care of ourselves, because let's face it, medicine, cannabis, or the slang marijuana, it's for real. And if it wasn't, why would our government have patents on it?
Very solid.
But this has been known for years and years. Not only our medicines, how about the hemp that goes into it? I mean, if you want to touch bases there, how about all the oils that can come from it, the food products that can come from cannabis and hemp? It's ridiculous that it's not legal here in Missouri and across the United States. And it's time that we, the people, get up and say, it is time.
It's time
we're
to
going
end
to
the
do
prohibition.
something about it. And here's how we're going to do it. We're going to get out there and vote. And by the way, we're going to watch what you do as our government, because we got the power to vote you in or vote you out. If you don't do what we want, and this is something we want. I mean, look at all of everything that they've run and checked on each side. All the numbers always come out in favorable of medical cannabis. Our government hasn't done anything about it, unfortunately, so we the people have to get up and do it.
I'd like to add something to that as well. Young folks these days don't believe that their vote matters.
That's very true.
Collecting
They believe
signatures
that.
out on several different times of collecting. I've had young people walk up and say, I'm not registered because my vote doesn't matter.
Right.
That's because then basically the government doesn't do what we want them to do when we put them in office. I mean, if we elect somebody and they say, oh, we're going to do this, and then they get in and they change their whole agenda, and they go on with their own, trail of whatever they've got planned. We're, as Missourians and as Americans, we're sick of that, honestly. You can tell it every day, and it is time for a change. And their vote matters just as much as anybody else's from 18 to 80 or above. Your voice needs heard. And the younger generation that doesn't think their vote matters, it needs to be known that they're the next generation that's coming up. They need to start now so they can put the right people in for them, for us, for the next generations, our children. That's how it works. You can't say, I don't want to vote because my vote doesn't matter. You have to have your opinion in there.
Your vote matters. It matters way more than you realize. And I can understand where people are coming from saying that their vote doesn't matter, because every time they vote, they don't get the issue or they don't get the person that they're after. And it does become quite discerning.
Well, not only that, but if they do get whoever they vote in there, they change their policies up when they're in there. And
that's
then,
so true.
It's the way
we
it
need
is.
This is kind of off on the side. We need to initiate term limits for those our officials, we need to, as citizens, recognize the fact that we have the power of voting and we need to use it.
Well, we've got more than that power as well. When somebody gets on the stage or anywhere else and gives you a verbal contract, and that's what they're doing.
Right.
In Missouri, you recognize verbal contracts, if I remember right.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
So why don't we hold them those contracts? Why don't we keep their feet to the fire? You didn't do this, and you said you were going to.
You're fired. We should
fire them or take them to court.
I like that, and I haven't heard that. And I love your neighborhood, man. You've got one really great neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys are really great. They're knowledgeable. If you get the opportunity to talk to them, tell them I said hi, because I'm probably not going to be there that day. So, and speaking of which, it's about time to wrap this up. Just do your due diligence, do your education, look through it. Let us know in the comment section if you think you agree with if you agree with these guys, or if me personally, I think this isn't that bad of a deal. I think it'd be great if the state would step up and do things the right way, and just end the prohibition within Missouri and take the proper steps to, you know, make the revenue that they need to fix the roads, feed the children, and make sure that nobody's homeless anymore. But that's obviously not going to happen anytime soon, at least. So with these three options that we have, it's up to you guys to make the choice and pick the best one. And yes, pick the best one. Don't go and click all three of them, because then it doesn't matter at all.
You just canceled your vote out all the way around.
All the way. And furthermore, then it does give the other initiatives an opportunity to sue whichever one has a winning vote. Just don't click all three. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jeff
Mizanskey.
This is Jeff Mizanskey, Chris Mizanskey. I'm Lance Storm. This is WN420, and guys, thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And don't forget, vote yes on 2.
We'll catch you later. Well, that about concludes this video. I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to Chris and Jeff for having us out and explaining us a little bit more of the Missouri Medical Marijuana Program, or the initiatives that we have up for vote. So if you guys aren't a registered voter, now's the time to do it. Do it before October 10th, and you can be voting on this next election. Guys, it's really important, and thank you so much. Just remember, don't vote yes on all of them. If you don't do anything, don't do that. Or whatever. I'm Lance Storm. This is WN420. Stay beautiful, stay positive. If this is your first time here, don't forget to hit subscribe, and the notification bell will let you know whenever we get more cool videos like this. And if this is on Facebook, just follow the group, follow the page, and hang out with us. You might enjoy the future. Stay beautiful, stay positive, and do something amazing today. See you later.